And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys. Here we go, another daily live show stalking all things Rangers today guys. Of course there was a bit of big news ahead of the Rangers versus Celtic showdown. Of course we'll be going over, whilst also going over all the latest Rangers news from the last sort of 24 hours. A few bits and pieces, nothing too major apart from obviously the big news that we stated about, but yeah, loads of other little bits and pieces around today. But as always guys, you make these live shows, so please do get involved in the comment section below, and let's start with some early score predictions. What are you guys feeling? What are you feeling as we're a couple of days out now? As stated, let me know some score predictions down there in the comment section below, and let me know a goal scorer. Who do you think's going to be scoring for Rangers? Let's also try and hit the like target of 200 likes. I know what the Rangers fans are like, guys. Let's hit the like button. Let's try and get to 200 likes on this live stream. And of course, let's start some conversation. If you're watching on a replay, do also get involved down there in the old comment section below. So yes, as you can see, guys, a few days out from the big one, the title decider. It's being sort of dubbed as. Some even going as far to say this is the biggest league Old Firm game in a decade, and I couldn't agree more, really. Or in over a decade, should I say. It hasn't really felt that there has been a proper title race. Even when Rangers won the title, it was kind of done in March. And, you know, Celtic have kind of had a clean sweep, really, let's be perfectly honest, domestically in the league. And there has never really been a feeling that there's been a title race come this point of the season. So, yeah, it's a very, very exciting one, a very, very interesting one, and a game I can't wait for. Of course, there has been positive news with regards to our base and our sort of camp with regards to players returning and all these kind of things. But on the flip side, guys, there has been a bit of big news with regards to Celtic, and yes, they've got a more of an update. And that is that they are going to have a full-strength squad heading into the crucial clash. Now, we've spoke a lot about them having Carter Vickers coming back. We've also heard a lot about them having Rio Hatate coming back. But there's a lot of positive news surrounding Callum McGregor, and more recently now, Lewis Palmer as well. Reports stating that he could also be in contention returning back to the game. So Celtic, this season, a bit like us, have had problems in terms of their injury worries. They've had injury problems as well. It's been a season plagued by injury problems for both sides, and both sides have never really been able to get the consistency with their starting 11. However, it does seem as though Celtic will have a full strength squad going into the clash, as there's been more news with regards to Lewis Palmer and of course Callum McGregor that they will likely make the starting likely make the squad for the game against Rangers at Ibrox. Cameron Carter-Vickers, Rio Hatate has stated they already stepped up their recovery at the weekend by starting their win against Livingston, which they won 3-0. Now, again, like any Rangers fans, I don't really care too much about the opposition, and it's about our game. Personally, if we play to our best, we will win that game. Most certainly, I have no doubts about it. But you can't help deny, or you can't deny that, you know, that is a big boost. They have been key contributors for them over the last few years. And especially my sort of understanding is that, what's his name? Cameron Carter-Vickers is a big boost for them, most certainly, and Lewis Palmer as well coming back into it. So, yeah, a bit of team news with regards to them, as stated, being reported that they're going to have a fully strength team out there. But as stated, guys, if we can, of course, play our game, we should be perfectly fine. And here's hoping, of course, we do go on and get the job done. But as stated, there is a lot of other stuff in the midst to this build-up of the team, a lot of talk. Ali McCoist has came out, gave a bit of a score prediction for it. There's also been Todd Campbell coming out and speaking about the referees as well. So we're going to be discussing that. Also, Dave King's had a recent interview as well, so let's talk about that. There's a bit more on Sam Lammers also. So yeah, quite a lot of stuff, guys, to go on and talk about in today's live stream. But if you guys want to guide the conversation, then of course just get involved in the comment section below, and we'll all talk about loads of different things. But let's start with Ali McCoist. Ali McCoist has been in the heat and the hot water recently, just because of this new sort of hate law that's kind of emerged throughout Scotland at this moment in time. And to be honest, someone who doesn't live in the UK at this moment in time, and North Scotland, I really can't believe this hate bill. Now, I'm queuing a lot of people going to be having a go at me because it's something in this day and age that you can't really have an opinion on. Now, I've seen, of course, him come out and he said his comments, and I didn't take it with any problem at all in terms of it. He said, look, there's going to be myself and 48 other thousand Rangers fans are going to be in breaching of this hate crime, but people are also jumping down onto the narrative that that's going to be about sectarian business or sectarian stuff. But this new hate law or hate bill that's being passed in Scotland is with regards to anything, literally saying anything of coming from anger or saying anything towards another person, then you can of course get arrested apparently within Scotland, which I did find super interesting. And it's one of those things, not to get political, guys, because this is a football podcast and it's a football show, but certainly one of those things that I think is one of the many reasons going wrong in Scotland at this moment in time. They almost feel that Scotland actually is a place where you can't have that sort of freedom of speech. But yes, Ali McCoist, of course, has got a lot of wrath after what he said. But following this, of course, there has been news that he will not be involved, or he will not be coming to Ibrox to watch the game. But also stated, but gave his score predictions ahead of it. He said, look, on Sunday's Old Firm, it's a coin flip. I don't think there is anything between the two sides. Rangers were dreadfully unlucky in the last game against Celtic at Ibrox. They had a goal disallowed for nothing, and Kyogo Furuhashi scored an absolute wonder goal, which is, to be fair, he's always been more capable of. The fact that Rangers have had the home advantage here will be absolutely vital. Old Firm games are usually massively important, but the next one is more important than ever. If Rangers can win this game, then it will be a massive step for them towards lifting the Scottish Premiership title. Celtic's form has been as erratic at times, there's no getting away from that. There has been a little bit of unrest in their camp as well, but you never know what is going to happen in an Old Firm derby. My personal opinion, I think Rangers will win the game 2-1 and go on to win the title, but only just. So interesting there from Ali McCoist. In terms of his thoughts on it, of course, won't be at the game apparently due to the sort of backlash that he's been getting. But yeah, hoping he's right with that sort of score prediction, and I'll probably go along with that one. I do think Rangers can come out on top on this derby. I think it's a match where it's going to be about those sort of first 10 minutes, I think, and how the crowd reacts. And if Celtic feel like they can get a sniff into it, then certainly they could probably find themselves quieting up our crowd. And they have done that, in the last Old Firm game, even under the sort of Michael Beale regime. I did think we were the better team on the day, but of course it got snatched away from us due to that sort of Kyogo goal. So I think that first 10 minutes is going to be very, very important for this Old Firm game. And I do agree with Ali McCoist that with that home advantage, we definitely need to be putting Celtic to the sword and most certainly winning this game and getting the job done against this Celtic team. Now, Todd Campbell, obviously there's been a lot talked about the referees going into this game, people talking about referees and all these kind of things. Obviously John Beaton's been appointed, as we already know, but Rangers playmaker Todd Campbell has called out on Scottish referees to start pushing questionable tackles earlier in a game as he stepped up his preparations for the Premiership match this week. Of course, the Englishman has performed fairly well for Philippe Clement this year and Rangers in general, but of course, kind of in the media has been, we've seen it managers coming out saying, try and protect these kind of players that Todd's is. He's always one of those players that kind of gets caught upon. But he did come out and speak about the inconsistency of refereeing decisions during his time in Scotland. He said, it's something I've probably had the most of my career. I am the sort of player who probably invites tackles with my dribbling and the way I like to play. Do I think that some teams look at it as an opportunity to try and stop me? Yes, I do. But it only works if it stops me, and I don't think it has. The injury I got was a hamstring. Listen, it happens. It is a part of football, to be honest. It was one of the other teams I might try and say the same thing. It's a compliment. I always have been. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always been the player who gets tackled a lot. It is the way I play football. I know that the manager has made it clear that he doesn't want me to change the way I play, but at the same time, it can maybe be a little bit smarter and protect myself as well. That is another learning curve for me. He added, for me personally, the number 10 is in the team to create, to be a bit of a maverick, to be the player you've probably look and say, oh, I didn't see that coming. With that, you are obviously going to make mistakes at the times, and people are always going to say he's forcing things. You're always going to be a player who was targeted by other teams as well. If someone can make something happen, they're going to try and stop him. That can be physically, mentally, it can be anything. That is my responsibility to be ready for that. He said, he said, I don't think it's overly physical up here, but I do think some of the tackles and some of the decisions are questionable. I have found from my personal experience that the first tasty tackle should always be booked because it sets the tone and shows you're not getting away with that. The problem is that I struggle with is the consistency of, because sometimes the tackle will be booked instantly and then sometimes it won't. Mine tend to be yellow cards. It tends to be a yellow card for me if I'm on the other side. So Todd Campbell, of course, coming out and speaking about the referees ahead of the game, talking about the sort of stuff with regards to the consistency and the level of consistency when it comes to refereeing decisions within the country. But that's something that's not new. It's something that's been talked about a lot over a long period of time, being Rangers supporters, and even if you're a Celtic supporter as well, it's something that's always been spoken about all of the time. So again, it's nothing new on that front, but Todd Campbell came out and said that he wants a bit more consistency when it comes to those refereeing decisions. Now, in other news, guys, of course, Mr. Sam Lammers is always actually a conversation piece on this channel, just because, well, he's obviously at Utrecht at the moment on loan. He's actually getting game time, and actually, for the third game in a row, he's came out and scored another goal. Yes, of course, he did go out on loan after a fairly poor first half, or first introduction as a Rangers player, and look, listen, at the end of the day, we do want Sam Lammers to do well. Whilst I don't think he's a great fit for us, I don't think he's the level to be a striker for us, he is a player that, of course, we do still want to try and get money for. We spent a lot of money for him back in the summer, £3.5 million, which for a Scottish side, which for Rangers, is quite a lot. It was a big part of our transfer kitty, in all honesty. But the Utrecht boss yesterday came out and said that it all depends on Rangers whether they can turn the Sam Lammers loan move into a permanent deal. As stated, the 26-year-old has now scored in his last 3 games in a row for Utrecht and already has 2 more goals with his loan club in 11 games than 2 he managed at Rangers in 31 appearances. It has been reported that Rangers would ask for around £2.5 million for the Eredivisie club to turn the loan permanent. However, the Utrecht, as whilst they would love to sign him, they do think that money will be a stumbling block. He said, we are very happy with Sam. He plays great football. He's a great guy. If we would like to stay longer, we'll do everything we possibly can. However, there are factors you can't control, that being Rangers and money. Lammers obviously came out in a recent interview and spoke about his time at Utrecht so far. He also spoke about his time at Rangers, his first half of the season, why it didn't necessarily go well for him. And basically stated that he was playing as a number 10 and not as a number 9. So it's one of those situations, but of course it's great to see him doing well at Utrecht at this moment in time and getting the game time and also getting the goals, because the more best he does might necessarily not go to Utrecht, but surely he could end up going to another club, and of course we could still recoup some of that money back that we obviously spent on him in the summer, which was around was £3.5 million. But as stated, we can get even half of that, or we get £2 million for him. I think that would be good and go a long way into our summer transfer kitty. Now, in other news, guys, Mr. Dave King has been coming out and speaking about certain other situations with regards to Rangers in a recent interview, and basically stated if we go on and win the title this year, he doesn't want to see the same mistake or the massive mistake that Rangers did make following the win of 55. Of course, this is what he said in an interview. If we can somehow go over the line this year, and there is no reason why we can't from here and actually win the league, then I really pray and hope that we can use it as a proper springboard to kick on, which we would have done after 55. That really was a massive mistake and a missed opportunity. I'm hoping he also gets new investment. I don't know what position regarding new net investment will be, but I think if he gets both, no matter what happens in the rest of the season, I will be going into the new season feeling good for the first time since 55. Let's hope nothing over the next few weeks derails that thought process. In my case, it won't. You can get wobbles. It would be great if things kick on from where we are, but even if we don't, I still feel that there is a solid base there to go forward for the next year or two. Now, I don't think it's no surprise, of course, that we did make a mistake following the 55 season. It's been well documented. I've spoken a lot about it on the channel as well. And, you know, one of those things that if we do go on and win the league, and I'm still saying a big if, obviously after this weekend's game, there might be a bit more confidence. I'm confident, but a bit more confidence, of course, because there's still 2 old firm games to go. If we do win the title this year, there's absolutely no doubt about it, especially with this massive Champions League kitty. We really really need to kick on and make sure we go forward with an era of dominance. After 55, we all had that feeling with Celtic down and sort of on a rebuild that would go on and maybe win 2-3 in a row and potentially go on and hoover up some more domestic cups and make progress. And whilst we did get to the Europa League final and whilst we did other things, domestically we've been well below par. Some of the signings that we were making had been well below par, but it now looks like we have got the right people in the right places. Niels Koopman looks very good with regards to the director of football. He's brought in 3 signings already, and already it feels like a different model. It feels like a very different path and a different way of thinking when it comes to the recruitment, and that's one big pillar that we need to get right, especially going into the summer if we were to win the league, or if we were not to win the league, to go on, build and go again. So Dave King is absolutely right. We don't want to be making any mistakes going forward, and especially if we win the title, we want to try and find that and go again and again and again and keep on building upon it. But guys, please do hit the old like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content, of course. And as stated, get involved down there in the live chat, get involved down there in the comment section below with regards to the game this weekend. A very big one, of course, and something that's really I'm getting excited for. I'm excited, but I'm nervous. I'm not really usually thinking about the Old Firm game. Well, to be fair, it's Thursday. We're nearly on Friday. Yeah, I usually am towards the weekend, but I felt at the start of this week there's been a lot of conversation. There's been a lot of feeling that this is the big one. This is a huge one. And he's hoping that the Rangers can definitely get the job done. But look, of course, I think that first 10 minutes is going to be pivotal, and hopefully the players that we have are capable of doing it. I'm mainly worried not so much about the defence in the midfield. It's mainly our sort of attacking options. Whilst I've seen, glimpses and glabs of sort of Fabio Silva, I still think Cyril Dessers will still start as our number 9, which does bode a bit of a problem for me, just because if he has a big chance in the game, 9 times out of 10 he's going to probably spoon it over the bar or something like that. And against Celtic, some of you may jump into the comments and say, well, no, there's going to be loads of chances. But you just got to think that there won't be a lot of chances throughout this game. And this is something where we need to be able to take a big chance. And hopefully Cyril Dessers will be able to come up with the goods. But then again, Kemar Roof could be back and maybe be able to be wheeled out to go get a big goal for us, which would hopefully be worth his sort of £32,000 per week wages that he's currently on, that we never get the use out of. So it's one of those. But yeah, Rangers fans, just let me know your thoughts on it. Who do you think the goal scorers are going to be? Let me know down there in the comment section below. And as stated, let's hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all of that stuff. Getting into the Champions League will get Rangers very close to Celtic in regards to money in the bank. Stuart from Sydney. Yes, absolutely. Look, this is the last year now that the Scottish champions, or likely, should I say, we'll see what happens in the next round in the Europa Conference League, but this is the last year that Rangers, depends, to be fair, as I stated, because the Czech Republic are just behind, and they have one team left that are in the sort of European football that can still get points onto the board. But in the Europa Conference League at this moment in time is Victoria plays in. They have got a hard tie, but if they get one draw in any of those 2 games, then we lose our automatic Champions League space as a country, which might not necessarily affect Rangers going forward, but certainly affect the country. So yeah, this is the last time that there is going to be a given sort of £40 million kitty for the champions as free reign, and we can't allow Celtic to have 3 sets of those for all our hard work, and they are going to be taking a leap sort of financially. And to be perfectly honest, taking away the blue tinted glasses and talking facts, at this moment in time they do have a lot more money in the bank. That's just very obvious and very clear to see just by the years of them being in the Champions League, the years of sort of player sales. So you are right, Stuart. Rangers getting into the Champions League is very important for this club, not just for our prestige, not just to play against the best, to test ourselves against the best, but of course to catch up financially and make sure that we're in a good place financially, be able to buy players and all these kind of things. So yeah, early score predictions. Steve Kyle says 3-1. Everyone's three goals here. That's quite good to see. 3-0 with a penalty to Rangers, says AR. That's an interesting one as well. Looking forward to that. hopefully you're right. Hopefully 3 goals. Hopefully it's a fairly comfortable victory for the Gers indeed. Look, that's it, guys, for this morning. Of course, there might be a little bit of video out later, but as stated, gone over all the latest Rangers news, of course. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll come out with another video later as we gear up for this big Old Firm derby. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you next time. Take care.